What's going on, guys? It's PokePond back with another video for you. We've got so much to talk about today. It seems like prices on sealed product are just changing so fast. It's so hard to keep up with everything. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. I'm always going to keep you up to date with all the new products and all the price movements across sealed product. Alright, let's get into it. Okay, as always, we've got so much to talk about today. The Pokemon market is doing absolutely insane things at the moment. We are right at the start of another sort of boom hype cycle. It happens sort of every few years. We've kind of been calling that it's going to be happening, and I'm telling you guys, you haven't seen anything yet. If you think prices are going crazy right now, just wait and see what they do in 2025. First of all, though, let's just go through the quick bit of news. We've got a release date for the new set, which is going to be Journey Together. That's going to be coming out on the 28th of March for English sets. And it's going to focus on trainer-based Pokemon, and there's going to be some chasers. These are what the booster packs look like. We can see an early look of that and the Elite Trainer box. And then it's just going to be sort of like a standard Elite Trainer box. We're going to have some promo, probably stamped promo on the Pokemon Center exclusive. And then, as with other Scarlet and Violet Elite Trainer boxes, we're going to have 9 booster packs within there. So that's kind of cool. As soon as we get to see more of the set, I'll let you guys see that. But let's just have a quick look at stock levels before we have a look at pricing. If you're new to the channel, then basically we compare all of the US markets, all of the stock levels for sealed, all the price movements, and to the UK and EU markets, because we can kind of draw some comparisons a lot of the time. And if we see movements happening over here in EU, perhaps we've got more stock of something you don't, they tend to follow suit, and then the other one runs out of stock and the same thing happens. So that's why you subscribe down below, because this is the only place where you're going to get a true comparison of what's going on worldwide with sealed. And despite what some Pokemon YouTubers say, I have been super accurate with my predictions over the last 12 months, almost like scarily accurate, and part of that is because we are comparing worldwide markets here. So if you're in the US or you're an EU citizen, I think you'll get something out of these videos. And every single week we're keeping track of all of the sealed things that are going on, especially now because things are going crazy. So let's start off by looking at the US Pokemon Center stock levels. You've got 3 booster boxes in stock. You got Battle Styles of Vivid Voltage from Sword and Shield era, which are arguably 2 of the least popular sets, so I'm not surprised to see those 2 still in stock. Battle Styles was printed into the ground. Vivid Voltage just never really took off in price, so I'm not surprised that there's not been a huge rush to scoop those up. Do I think that they'll rise in price over the long term? Yes, but I think that your money is better off in other plays, in other sets. And then you've got, from the Scarlet and Violet era, just Temporal Forces. It's interesting that Temporal Forces is still in stock, because I wouldn't say that it's the worst set out of Scarlet and Violet. It's fairly recent set, but it's just interesting that you've got Temporal in stock and maybe like no Paradox Rift and stuff like that. So those are your options for retail on Pokemon Center. Over in the UK, we have a similar story. We've got Battle Styles, no Vivid Voltage. We have Temporal Forces as well, but we've got Paradox Rift. So we've got no Vivid Voltage, but we've got Paradox Rift. Interesting. Can we draw conclusions from that? Not really. It's too early on in the Scarlet and Violet sort of life cycle to draw a conclusion about print numbers and stuff, but we're going to keep an eye on it. It's important going forward. Now let's start looking at price movements over this last week. Seems like everything is just exploding at the moment in price. We've always got to start with the big boy. I mean, you can't make a price tracking video talking about sealed product without talking about Evolving Skies. As always, we're going to look at US markets and EU markets, and we're going to compare what's going on here. Again, insane price rises here. I've got some notes. So if we look, it is last week $1,073 on the average on TCG Player. And then last sales, let's have a look, basically $1,400. So it's gone up a significant amount, $315 to be precise, over the last 7 days if you take the averages on TCG Player. And if we calculate that out as a percentage, 315 divided by the original 1073 times 100, 29.3% price rise. Not only is Evolving Skies going up in price, it is accelerating in price. We have been screaming out to people over the last 12 months to buy into Evolving Skies because it's going to go over 1,000 a box by Christmas time that's just passed. That prediction came true. We hit 1,000 just a few days before Christmas, and now we're couple of weeks, not even a couple of weeks into 2025, and we're bordering on $1,400 a box. I have been calling that this set is massively undervalued. Even at $1,400 a box, I still think it's undervalued to what it should be right now. I'm calling $1,600 to $1,800 a box, not in 3 months' time, not in 6 months' time. It should be that price today. So I still think Evolving Skies is undervalued, and I think we're going to start seeing those price points over the next couple of weeks as Prismatic Evolutions comes out. It's going to put more of a focus on the EV cards, and people are going to get more nostalgic over the Evolving Skies set. It is the best set that's been released in the last decade, in my opinion, and it's just going to go strength to strength to strength. I still think it's massively undervalued. It's going to have a huge 2025. Breathe with caution when investing in Evolving Skies. A booster box is a lot of money to some people. Only invest within your limits, or buy for your collection within your limits. If you're a beginner and you don't have a lot of spare money, then please don't invest what you can't afford to lose. Although things are always going up in price, it seems, it could all go to zero. You need to be comfortable with the fact that if you're putting $1,400 into a booster box, it may go to zero. Yes, it's very unlikely, but it is entirely possible. Okay, disclaimer out the way. Evolving Skies is going absolutely bananas right now. A 30% price rise basically in the last 7 days is kind of ludicrous. We're seeing that on eBay as well. So although the cheapest on TCG Player, last sale on TCG Player is $13.88, cheapest you can buy it domestically, so within the US on US eBay currently is $14.98. So it's basically $1,500 is the cheapest buy it now. So it's not going to be long until TCG Player catches up, and $1,500 is the new price, and it's just going to keep jumping and jumping and jumping. And it's really, really interesting to track that. If you're holding some Evolving Skies sealed like I am, you're looking pretty happy right now. But if you're not, we'll talk about some alternatives if you can't afford to invest fully into the booster box. And you can see they're selling for that as well. Look, last sale on eBay, $1,500. So if we calculate that out for last eBay sale, it's gone up even more. So it was what last week, 1073. So 1,500 divided by 1073, a $427 price rise over the last 7 days if you take the average from TCG Player. So let's just calculate that out, 427, because it's just so interesting, divided by, what was it, 1073 times 100. So it's closer to a 40% price rise if you take last sale on eBay. Absolutely crazy. And you can see like how much it's jumping. Look, last sale today, $1,500. Last sale yesterday, $1,200. Like, it's just jumping so quick. Like, it's going vertical, the chart, and it's not going to slow down. As long as people keep making money on it, it's going to keep becoming more and more scarce, and more people are just going to FOMO in, start pushing the price higher and higher and higher. It is dangerous when prices go volatile like this, but the actual product itself, the set itself, is so strong that I do think it's still undervalued. Like I said, $1,600 to $1,800 a box. We're nearly there with eBay last sales. Another couple of weeks of this crazy hype and we'll be there, maybe knocking on the door of $2K a box. That would be really, really nice to see. On the UK markets, it's kind of going a bit crazy as well. $1,200 is the cheapest buy now, right now. And what's really interesting is while I was making this video, I saw one up for £1,000, sorry, and during the course of me making this video this morning, the 1,000 one sold, and then now the cheapest is 1,200. So I saw the £1,000 a box and I thought, that looks pretty cheap. And as I was loading up the tabs, it sold. And then, yeah, now the price is 1,200. You can see one sold yesterday for 1,200, which is why I thought the 1K was a little bit on the cheap side. As crazy as that sounds, saying 1K for a booster box is cheap. But it is, and now the price is 1,200. So someone just got a 20% off in one sale, and then it's done a 20% jump now in the last, couple of hours. Now that one's gone, the price now, if you want to buy one, is 1,200. And I tell you what, these 1,200s won't last for long, especially when the US market is starting to pump. If the US market is selling for $1,500, as that starts going up, 1,800, 1,900, that's going to push these EU markets up as well. So it's just really interesting. Let's actually see how many are at 1,200. We got 1, 2, 3 for 1,200. Then we're at 1,250. 4, 5, 6. So within 6 sales, we're at 1,300 a box in the UK. And then look, less than 10 sales, we're at 1,500. Yes, more people will add them on, but they're not going to be adding them on as quickly as the price is going up. I would not be surprised, like I said, if we see a $2,000 and even £2,000 Evolving Skies booster box over the next 3 months. I really wouldn't be surprised. So let's have a look at your options if you want some Evolving Skies and you can't afford the booster box. The Elite Trainer boxes are still looking mighty undervalued. So you can buy one in the UK right now for £180. And I'm going to show you why this is a crazy deal right now, okay? So if the booster box is going for 1,200 and you get 36 packs, that is £33 recurring for a pack, okay? £33, remember that, for the booster box. The Elite Trainer box is currently going for 180 on a buy it now, and you get 8 packs. £22 a pack. Do you see the difference? Like, that's a 50% price difference between the Elite Trainer box and the booster box. And the reason why is because the booster box climbs up in value faster, and then the Elite Trainer box often sort of is riding on the coattails of that and will slowly rise up. But there's a delay. There's always a delay in the booster box going up to the Elite Trainer box going up. And I'm telling you, the pack to cost ratio of the booster box going up is going to push the Elite Trainer box up. So the Elite Trainer box is undervalued at the moment on the UK markets, definitely. So if it's 33 a pack on the booster box, if we times that by 8, we can get the true pack to cost ratio of what the Elite Trainer box should cost. 264, and it's currently 180. So you can see that difference there. And yes, the booster box is more desirable, it's more liquid, etc. But the Elite Trainer box, do you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be that much disparity in price, and that's because people are sleeping on the Elite Trainer box. And if you want to invest in, this is a play. Like, this is what this channel is all about. I will always point out all the plays when I see them, and I'm telling you, the Elite Trainer box on the EU markets right now for Evolving Skies is massively undervalued. Even the booster box is undervalued, but just at the prices they're at now on the buy it nows and the last sold, 180 is super cheap. It should be well over that at the moment. US market is a little bit smarter at the moment, and the Elite Trainer box on the US market is similar pack to cost ratio for the booster box, but keep an eye on it because it's definitely a play that doesn't happen all the time, but in cases like this, you can see here on the UK market, it is definitely a play. Let's have a look at Fusion Strike then and some of the other sets, because we could spend a whole episode talking about Evolving Skies, but we need to go through all of the big boys in Sword and Shield, so we're going to speed up a little bit and we're going to go through Fusion Strike. So, Fusion Strike, let's have a look at our notes. 471, there we go. 471 was the average last week. Current last sold is, let's see, 505. So 505 to the last sold. These are Korean ones that sold, so they don't really count, and that's pushing the average down a little bit. So the difference is $34. So not as big of a price rise, but we'll get the calculator out. Here we go. 34 divided by 471 times 100. 7.2% price rise. Not bad, to be honest. And I'm telling you, Fusion Strike, again, is massively undervalued. Even with the huge inflation it's had on this chart over the last few weeks. 471 for a booster box of Fusion Strike is so cheap, especially when, you know, you've got Evolving Skies knocking on the door of $1,400 a box. It just looks mega cheap. There's no way, in my opinion, that Fusion Strike should be 40% of the price of Evolving Skies. It just shouldn't be. It should be closer up to that. I think it's difficult. I think Fusion Strike should and probably will be in the next few months closer to, it's got to be knocking on the door of $700 in the next few months, I think. Let's have a look at eBay then. So actually, the cheapest buy it now on eBay in the US is $825 on a buy it now. Now that's a bit of a jump. So we're talking about from 505 to 825, and that's the cheapest when you're buying in the US from a US seller. Now what's really interesting is there's so much international arbitrage going on at the moment, and this is what this channel sort of focuses on and gives you information on that you won't get from anyone else on YouTube at the moment, because you need to understand that 825 for a buy it now is extortionate, but it's a seller's market right now, so he can charge what he wants because there's no one else in the US charging cheaper than him. I'm not saying it's going to sell for 825 right now, but he can charge what he wants. Now there are much cheaper ones on US eBay, but they're all from international sellers, most of them from the UK. Look, 671 UK, 614 Germany, 553 from Australia, 610 from the UK. Look, we can go really cheap. All of these are international sellers. Look, it goes as low as $427 from the UK, because our EU markets are so far behind on Fusion Strike. The US saw the boom, the EU hasn't caught up yet, so it's so cheap over here that it makes sense. Us UK people, we can buy one, not even from distributors, we can buy one from eBay, put it onto the US eBay, sell it for $400 and still make a profit shipping it halfway around the world. And I'm telling you that it won't last for long, okay? These international sellers will sell out quick. Yes, international arbitrage, as in buying it in one country and selling it in another country, is a play. I don't recommend it as a play because it's very risky and it won't last long, okay? It's already increasing. Every week I look, there's more and more people from the UK selling on the US eBay because there's disparities in the price, okay? But it won't last long, and these international sales will sell out quickly. So we're just going to look at US to US, and I'm telling you, the cheapest there at the moment is $825, which is such a huge increase in price. Let's have a look at last sales then. Look at this. Last sales, US to US, $524. So closer to what the TCG player is. But that's gone now. 524 is gone. Next lowest is 825. Unless someone puts one on there for cheaper. And why would they? You know, I mean, they might undercut this a bit and put it on for 800. But we're in a crazy hype cycle, okay? People are buying them quicker than people are selling them. So the price is just going up and up and up and up. 825 could easily be the price next week if everyone else just decides that is the price now. And then before you know it, look, then the next one is 1,100 for Fusion Strike on an international. If you're in the US, you're going to have to order that in from another country. You're going to have to order that in from Canada just to get it for 1,100. Unless you want to order from the UK halfway around the world and pay $500, which makes more and more sense. What's interesting is eBay is opening up the international markets. It's becoming easier and easier for sellers to sell internationally, and that's why the international arbitrage play is not one that I would recommend, because more and more we're getting open markets and you're going to see the prices sort of level out. If it's cheaper, or we've got stock of something over here in the UK or the EU, it's going to reduce your price down a bit because people are just going to ship them over, and vice versa. So it's really, really interesting how international markets and international trade in Pokemon is something that people aren't really thinking about right now. And it is going to affect the markets massively, because it's not just the fact that US people might get stock cheaper because we're shipping from the EU. You've got to understand as well that we have a lot of demand as well. Like, if it's easier for us to buy on US eBay, then we might buy some of your stock and ship it here to the UK. So you might have even more demand in your markets than you had previously, because if we're struggling to get product over here in the EU and the UK, I'm telling you what, the EU and UK markets aren't as small as some people think. Okay, there's a lot of people here invested in Pokemon and collectors in Pokemon, and I tell you what, it's going to become more and more common that we're going to buy stuff off of US eBay, especially if it's cheaper, to import it to us, and that's going to drive US prices even more crazy as well. But that's all going to come over the next sort of 12 months, 24 months as prices start going crazy. So like I said, last sold 524, but I honestly think by next week this is going to shoot right up, looking at what's going on. In the UK, look how cheap it is here. £317. Okay, let's try and work that out. So £317 in dollars is going to be something like $380. And if your cheapest is like $825 on a buy it now, do you see what I mean? Like, it becomes a no-brainer to arbitrage it over, but it won't last for long, because all of these will just get bought out and they'll just get shipped to the US. It's just a matter of time, and then the EU prices are going to go crazy as well. Let's have a look at Lost Origin then. Let's move on, rant over about international shipping. It's just important that I say it because it's something that people really aren't paying attention to, and it's going to have a massive impact on the sealed markets over the next 12 months, I guarantee it. Let's have a look at Fusion Strike then. So Fusion Strike last sold last week is... Sorry, I've got notes on all of this. Not Fusion Strike, Lost Origin, sorry. Lost Origin, 345 last week. So 345, and last sales are, let's see, 379. There's one going for 400 there, 430, just shy of 400 there. So we'll take an average. We'll go for 400, and let's do a little bit of calculating to see a percentage change. So that is $55 from 345 to 400. 55 divided by 345 times 100. 15% price rise on Lost Origin. Again, that looks really modest compared to Evolving Skies going mad with like 30% plus gains, but 15% in a week is crazy, and it just looks so cheap right now, Lost Origin. Like, the fact that Fusion Strike has overtaken Lost Origin, and by quite a bit now, Fusion Strike's pumping, Lost Origin will be next. Lost Origin is a decent set. You've got the alt art Giratina, which is one of the best alt arts in the whole block as well. It's just looking mighty cheap right now. So yeah, last sales around about 400, but then you've got Fusion Strike that's going for like 500. Should Fusion Strike be $100 more than Lost Origin? I don't know. Probably not. Cheapest you can buy it on US to US eBay is, look, 580. Kind of crazy. So like, yeah, last sales on TCG Player 400. Cheapest you can buy it now, 580. Do you see like the difference in price? Like, things are just jumping up and going crazy. Once those TCG Player ones sell out, you know, there is plays from buying it from TCG Player, putting it on eBay, but that's so easy for people to do because it's all internal within your country. Like, it's just going to even things out so quick. The price will jump to this real quick. Like, we could see the 580 Lost Origin. We can see some sales on it coming over the next couple of days, probably. And then look at last sold. Last sold 349. So do you see the difference in price? Literally yesterday it sold for 350. And now the cheapest on there for a buy now is 580. Now, I'm not saying it's going to sell for 580, but this is what I'm talking about. It's a seller's market. They can choose the price And if someone pays it, well, then that's the price now. Do you know what I mean? If someone needs it now, if someone's FOMOing into it, they might buy it for 580. Things are moving so fast in Sword and Shield Sealed, and that's why this channel is so important, because I will keep track of everything for you. I'm going to tell you all the plays. I'm going to do all the price changes for you, because I'm struggling to keep up. I'm thinking I'm going to have to start making 2 videos a week now, because if I'm making, things change too much in 7 days. Do you know what I mean? It's too far apart for me to do updates for you. Like, the market's moving too fast for me to report on it. Let's have a look at UK markets. And UK markets, 280 now for a sealed one, cheapest buy it now. It's looking cheap. Do you know what I mean? Like, a few months ago, 280 would be out of the question. You know, even like 200 seemed expensive. Now it's like anything sub 300 looks cheap. And I think in a few months' time, 300 is going to look crazy. Especially where Fusion Strike is going to be pushing on the door £500, £600 a box, I would imagine. Then, you know, Lost Origin's going to push up to those levels as well. It's not going to be far behind. We've got to talk about my boy Chillin' Rain as well. Chillin' Rain is one of my favourite sets in Sword and Shield. It's starting to move mad. So, last sales, Chillin' Rain, 298 last week on the average. Right. We need to talk about TCG Player, okay? Now they're doing these silly descriptions here on last sales. It's pushing the price off the screen and you can't get to it. It's so annoying, right? The first annoying thing is these pop-ups on the graph. So wherever you put your mouse, you see a pop-up and then you can't see where your mouse is on the chart. That was the first thing you did wrong, TCG Player, which made my life more difficult to track prices. Get rid of these silly pop-ups, okay? Just keep it at the top here like it used to be. Now that you're writing these extra descriptions here on your picture listings, on some of them you're pushing the price off the screen. You can't even see it, and you can't load it up either. The only way you can do it, right, to see the last sales is you, and this is a little trick I worked out this morning, if you drag to copy it like that, and then we copy it. Look at how silly this is, TCG Player. And then we have to put it into a notepad to see the prices. Okay, last sold on Chillin' Rain. It baffles me how a site that big can make such a big mess up like that. 379 last sale on Chillin' Rain. So we have jumped from, let's see, we've gone from 298 to 379 in 7 days. That is an $81 price rise. Let's calculate out the percentage on that. So 81 divided by, what are we divided by? 298, sorry. Equals times 100, 27.1% price rise on my boy Chillin' Rain. He's getting some momentum behind him. Absolutely pumping. That's close to the levels of what Evolving Skies is doing. Absolutely brilliant to see Chillin' Rain go up by nearly a third of its value again on top in 7 days. People are really FOMOing into Chillin' Rain right now. And Chillin' Rain is like getting old now. Like, rarely do you see them for sale, like for a decent price. Like with some of the less popular sets, you'll see people like dump them and you can get good deals on them. Never with Chillin' Rain. Chillin' Rain, you're always seeing them at market or above market, being optimistic. Chillin' Rain, cheapest you can buy it in the UK right now, $2.95. That's a good deal. That's a really good deal. Let's have a look at last solds. Yeah, look, last solds from yesterday, $3.25, and here's one for $2.95. So you're getting nearly a 10% discount on this one. Good deal. I haven't actually looked at this one though. 0% feedback. That's not true. That's a bug, because you can see it's got 12 feedback. It does that on eBay sometimes, by the way. So if you see 0% feedback, but you can see a number for feedback here, just click on it, like click into the seller, into the listing, and then it will display the proper feedback. Weirdly, it sometimes shows 0% on people. But yeah, that's something to be aware of. But yeah, 279 is looking, or 29295 is looking cheap in the UK for Chillin' Rain right now. Because look, last sales, look, 325, 350, and these are all in the last couple of days. So a little bit of a discount there. Someone dumping one. Go pick yourself up a good deal if you're quick enough. I guarantee a lot of my UK viewers will be fighting over that as soon as this video comes out. Let's have a look at Silver Tempest then. Silver Tempest is increasing in price as well. Not as much, but we're going up. We're going up on the chart. We're going vertical. Not only that, but we're seeing an increase in sales volume on TCG Player as well. Look, as the days go on, we're getting 25 sold, 22 sold. That's really positive as the price is going up, that you're also seeing increased sales volume as well. Silver Tempest is one of those that is just kind of massively undervalued at the moment. I think quite a few of these Sword and Shield sets are looking undervalued when you start looking at what Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign and Evolving Skies are starting to do. Silver Tempest is a great set. Look at this, TCG Player, what are you doing? What are you doing to my life? Look, your prices are off the screen, you can't see them. Let's get the notepad out because TCG Player can't put together their website properly. Alright, let's copy all of that so that we can see the last sales. Come on, TCG Player. Right, last sales, 244, 250, 244. So average last week was 232, 232 to 244. We're seeing about a 5% price rise on Silver Tempest. Still looking pretty cheap in my opinion. 5% price rise over 7 days is really not a bad thing. Let's just quickly zip through Brilliant Stars as well. Brilliant Stars has seen again a little bit of an increase in price. We're going from 246 to last sales. Again, we've got to load it up into a notepad because TCG Player can't put a website together. I actually closed my other notepad. We'll use this one. Let's have a look then. Last sales, 300, 333, 300 on Brilliant Stars. So we have gone from 246 to 300. That's a $54 price rise over the last 7 days. We'll calculate that out. 54 to 246 was the original price. Times 100. Brilliant Stars is moving, yo. 21.9% price rise on Brilliant Stars over the last 7 days. That's massive for Brilliant Stars, and it's still looking pretty cheap. You know, $300 for a Brilliant Stars ain't looking bad, especially when it's moving up 21% every week. That's really good. Before I end this video, I really need to start talking about Scarlet and Violet. We really, I'm always going to track Sword and Shield for you because that's how the channel started, was talking about investing in Sword and Shield. And I know a lot of my viewers are heavily invested into Sword and Shield, so that's never going to change. We're still going to track Sword and Shield every week on the channel, but I need to start talking about Scarlet and Violet because Scarlet and Violet is in that stage now where you need to start accumulating, okay? And we're starting to see boxes move, some of the older sets, and that's really starting to show us which are going to be the outlying sets of Scarlet and Violet, okay? Look, Twilight Masquerade, look at the chart. We're starting to move on Twilight Masquerade. Twilight Masquerade for the last 3 months here was round about retail. You can get it cheaper than retail still on eBay. You can get it cheaper than retail from some big box stores, online stores. But look, last sales, look, it's starting to move. Okay, and that's partly because people are FOMOing into it. Rip and ship culture are just burning through booster boxes like there's no tomorrow. The supply is drying up. Twilight Masquerade is a brilliant set. Look, last sale, $190 on Twilight Masquerade. I understand Twilight Masquerade isn't that old, but the fact that it's starting to move up in price already is a really positive time. Now is the time to start buying into these Scarlet and Violet sets, okay? Twilight Masquerade is looking healthy. It's moving up the charts, okay? Last week, 174 average. Now we're at like 190. You're saying, okay, that's not a massive percentage gain in price. But this is your last chance, I think, to pick up these sets for retail or below. You can still get deals on them because everyone's looking at Sword and Shield right now. Everyone's looking at Fusion Strike, Evolving Skies, Brilliant Stars, Silver Tempest. I'm not buying into those anymore. Yes, I can, but I'm buying Scarlet and Violet. I'm starting to get my stock up now, sit on them for a couple of years. Now is the time. And now we can start to see sets getting close to going out of print window. Twilight Masquerade, alright, it's got plenty of time left. But Paldea Evolved, it's getting close to that out of print window. And like, it seems like Paldea Evolved hasn't been out for that long, but Paldea Evolved is getting close to that two-year window, you know, and the price is starting to go up. For the longest time, look, even, look, December time, you could get Paldea Evolved sub-retail. Okay, less than MSRP price. Just in December. That was a couple of weeks ago. Look at it. It's moving on the chart now. Less and less of them are getting available. People are buying them out. Rip and ship culture is just burning through them. They're just burning through Scarlet and Violet, okay? We're getting to a new era in Pokemon now where you don't necessarily need to wait that 2-year window for it to go out of print, because people are just cracking booster boxes like there's no tomorrow, okay? Pokemon Center or Pokemon Company cannot keep up with the supply. And Paldea Evolved, yeah, it might get 1 more reprint, it might get 2 more reprints, but there's not going to be a lot of it, and it's just going to get eaten up super quick. Even if Paldea Evolved got a decent sized reprint now, I don't think it will drop in price that much. At most, it might drop closer to MSRP, but I don't think it's ever going below MSRP again. So, do you know what I mean? Like, it's starting to move. Paldea Evolved is nearly $200 a box. Look, there's 2 sold here today, the 11th. 2 sold here for $199. Okay, Paldea Evolved is almost out of print. Now is the time to start buying these Scarlet and Violet sets. And like I said, you can start to see who the outliers are going to be. It's going to be Twilight Masquerade, by the looks. It's going to be Paldea Evolved. Paradox Rift and Temporal Forces, the verdict's still out, because there's still stock of them around. Yes, you don't have Paradox Rift available for retail on Pokemon Center in the US, but we got it here in the EU. And while it's still available here in the EU, we're going to sell it to the US. We're going to arbitrage it over. So it is basically still available for retail worldwide. So those 2 are out at the moment. Like, we need to burn through some of that stock first. And that will burn through pretty quick. Scarlet and Violet base. Scarlet and Violet base is getting old now. Like, decently old. It's almost out of print. For the longest time, you could get Scarlet and Violet sub $100. And the fact that it's starting to move up closer to retail, look, it's still sub MSRP. It's $140. But it's moving up. It's really positive to see a set that no one wanted that was going for $90 a box for the longest time. For over a year, you could get one sub $100 a box. And now it's climbing up. It's $140 a box now. $140 is a good deal, you know. It's still cheaper than MSRP for a decent set that's almost out of print window. I'm telling you, we need to start moving into Scarlet and Violet now. If you're serious about stacking things up and keeping a hold of them for a little while, this is what I'm doing, okay? I'm not buying into Sword and Shield anymore. I've already got my stock. I've already got loads of sealed of Sword and Shield. The time has passed. If you're going to do it, fine. Buy some Evolving Skies Elite Trainer Boxes. Buy some Fusion Strike. I'm not saying those are bad plays. They're going to go up in price. But for me and how I invest, I buy stuff for retail or close to retail as possible and then sit on it. And now is the time to move into Scarlet and Violet if you want to get bargains on stuff. The same will happen with Scarlet and Violet. Give Scarlet and Violet another 2 years and you'll see what you're seeing in Sword and Shield now. The prices will start to elevate up. You'll start to see the boom in Scarlet and Violet. I'm telling you. I've done this again and again and again. We did this with Sun and Moon. We did this with Sword and Shield. We're doing it again now with Scarlet and Violet. You buy in for retail. Look, Stellar Crown is another one of those sets. Yes, it's probably going to get reprinted, but it's not going to be enough. Look, it's moving up in price. Look, 3 months ago, you could get it for $100 a box. Just the fact that in the last 3 months, it's gone from way under MSRP, like 20-30% under MSRP, to now it's at retail. Okay? TCG player, God. Right, let's copy it. Let's copy it over so we can actually see the prices of what it's doing. There we go. Look, last sale TCG player, 160, 160. That's MSRP. And you might be like, oh, you know, like a modern set selling for MSRP. That's not a sign of anything. It is, look, it's pumping. People couldn't get rid of Stellar Crown a couple of months ago. Now it's MSRP. Give it another couple of months, it will start going up in price. So your outliers at the moment, the sets that we can start to see moving, Paldea Evolved, definitely, because it's old enough and it's moving high enough that we can see that the demand is there. Scarlet and Violet base. Again, it's a set that no one wanted and it's starting to go up in price. Twilight Masquerade, you've got the Greninja. That is one of the most iconic cards from Scarlet and Violet. Yes, a bit more of a modern set, so is Stellar Crown, but they're moving. Yes, they might get some reprints, the Stellar Crown and the Twilight Masquerade. They're more likely to get reprints, but we're starting to see the trends. We're starting to see which sets are pulling ahead, and you can get deals on them now. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Hope you have a wonderful day, and peace.